15 years ago, Atiku Abubakar was Vice President and Chairman of the Economic Team in the administration which undertook fundamental economic restructuring, banking consolidation, pensions and telecommunication reforms, and paid off our foreign debts. These achievements were made possible because of the vision and commitment of leadership. Today, Atiku strongly believes that there is urgent need for change and that Nigeria needs a strong, decisive and visionary leader to create jobs, tackle insecurity, fight corruption and rebuild our infrastructure. Atiku is seeking the APC ticket to contest the 2015 presidential elections because he has the experience and skill to bring people together and build a strong and stable nation for the benefit of all Nigerians. Atiku 2015, a Nigeria for all.
Glad to have you join us again. It's Cool Digest Wednesday. The PDP and the APC kickstart their elective national convention today, while the PDP is holding its own in Abuja. Of course, the APC would be at the Taslim Stadium, I believe the Taslim Balogun Stadium today to find out who will fly the flag of the party as regards presidential election in 2015. I'm joined now to discuss the APC primary election and its impact on the 2015 general elections by Bola Oba. Good morning and thank you for joining us today.
Thank you very much for the opportunity once again. Always a pleasure to be with you.
All right, there are about
when
five.
You're not being cynical. And,
Come on, do good there this morning. There are about 5 presidential aspirants for the APC. Many are saying that unlike several other elections, the APC as a party is going to experience some quite competition in finding out who is not only eligible but who has the potentials to stand as a credible opposition to the incumbent president. Now, let me quickly, we're going to take them one by one and we're just going to find your informed opinion as regards what their chances are and how they stand as indeed a credible opposition to the incumbent. We'll start with Sam Inda Isaiah. Sam Inda Isaiah is the founder of the Leadership Newspapers Group and currently is also a presidential aspirant on the platform of the APC. Now, his fame, so to speak, dates back to his Monday column in Leadership under the combined titles of Last Word and Airshot, which is started in Daily Trust before the establishment of Leadership and is one of the most popular columns in Nigeria. Through this column, he is reportedly was able to firmly establish himself as a pro-good governance exponent, and early versions of his articles now has been distilled into a book entitled Nigeria, Full Disclosure. Born on May 1, 1962, you might also want to note that as we compare the age of these aspirants subsequently in the course of the show. Sam was a member of the Daily Trust editorial board as well as a member of the committee appointed by the Kano State government to revive the Triumph, a state-owned newspaper. Okay, looks like for the first time we're having a journalist having to contest presidency in Nigeria. In 2002, he and a few others of like minds and tendencies formed the Buhari organization to promote General Muhammadu Buhari's aspiration to the presidency, and he was also appointed Deputy Director General. He fondly refers to General Buhari as his model and political leader. Does that strike a chord in you, Boloba? Many have referred to him as a pretender rather than a contender, so to speak.
if we want to be a bit loose with language, or if we want to be a bit this thing with language, you may want to use the phraseology you've used, but I actually believe that his presence amongst the candidates of the APC enriches our democracy, because it may not quite be a bona fide academician, but nobody can nobody can dispute the fact that he is a public intellectual. And when a public intellectual is involved in a process, it inevitably is enriched, that process is inevitably enriched by the contribution that is going to give to the process. So where I see him as not quite a hopeful, but an enricher of the mechanism through which the APC has chosen to elect its presidential candidate. That is what I see.
But then the fact that it actually worked for Buhari in 2012, does it in any way, for instance, now if someone describes someone as his mentor and now you have you are contesting with your mentor in an
Are you
election?
a bit familiar with boxing?
Not exactly.
When I was a young man, one guy who turned up to become the world heavyweight champion of the world used to be the sparring partner of Muhammad Ali. His name was Leon Spinks. He used to be Muhammad Ali's sparring partner. So that you used to revere a man, or indeed still revere and honor the man, does not mean that you don't see some areas where you think you are better placed, intellectually or otherwise, to do better than the man.
What about, let me be direct now. Let's put the grammars aside. Can under Isaiah, does it stand a chance to win this primary election?
Where I am at this point, that's why I said I said earlier on that he's not much of a hopeful, but he's an enricher of the process that the APC has evolved to choose its presidential candidate.
It's all right.
Look, my brother, your tie is not you, but you are dignified by the tie. You may not know, and thank God that I'm straight. You know, I'm not a gay man, but you're looking dapper, shiny, polished.
I think that the camera should be on me right now.
No, anybody will agree, but I'm a straight man. If I wasn't a straight man, you may not be escaping the fact that we are locked up in the same room. So, your tie is not you, but your tie enriches you.
Well, crying out loud, why are you guys not showing my tie? Come on. The man is talking about my tie on the studio this morning. Let's move away quickly. The pocket square, I believe. Well, let's move away quickly from Ida to Rochas Okorocha, another very exciting and interesting figure in the APC presidential hopefuls. All of them will be slugging it out today, of course, at the Teslim Balogun Stadium. But let's find out who this man is. Of course, incumbent governor of Imo State, and assumed office on 29th of May 2011. He also was born on September 22, 1962, the same year that under Isaiah was born. Willow Okorocha, Nigerian politician from Imo State, also a known philanthropist. He was a commissioner on the Federal Character Commission. And a member of the National Constitutional Conference. When democracy was restored in 1999, Okorocha competed in the primaries to be the PDP candidate for governor of Imo State. Of course, he lost to Achika Undewa, and then he moved from there to the ANPP, was an unsuccessful candidate for president on the ANPP platform as well. In 2003, he returned to the PDP, and President Olusegun Obasanjo appointed him as special advisor on inter-party affairs. Rochas Okorocha formed the Action Alliance Party in 2005, planning to become a presidential candidate for the AA in 2007. He again returned to the PDP. I hope you are noting that, Bolova. And then in September 2007, he indicated that he was interested in becoming PDP national chairman. After Governor Ikedio Ahmed decamped from the the Progressive People's Alliance to the PDP in July 2009, Okorocha denied the People's what's it called now?
Progressive Grand Alliance.
Okay. And then he denied that Ohaim had taken over the PDP in the state, saying he was named as leader since he was governor. But a proper PDP Congress should be held to decide on the policy. So it goes on and on and on and on like that. And it's also amazing that this is his first term in office as a governor. Prior to this time, he intended to contest as presidential candidate before he went to become a governor. Wouldn't you say that this man is being over ambitious, so to speak?
If I couldn't use such a word for Nda Issa, it would not be justified for me to use it for Okorocha, because at least Okorocha had some form of antecedents in the direction of his aspiration for the presidency.
Okay.
Yeah, and he once actually aspired to become the presidential candidate of the ruling party. We must, we must respect that. But where I am too, I don't quite see him as a hopeful again today, but I see him as a bona fide material for a vice presidential slot.
Oh, I see.
If the previous personality we analyzed was just stepping into the waters, at least having a feel of the waters, Okorocha may be one who is trying to swim from the river, from the bank of the river to a point where, it could be seen to be obnubbing with the mermaid of the water. So for me, Okorocha may be proving through what may likely turn out to be an unfulfilled aspiration to say, I'm the beautiful bride for the vice presidential this thing. And I think any smart presidential candidate of the APC may do himself well to pick Okorocha as a vice presidential material. The reason being that the Igbos have been underserved and shortchanged in the context of the present political dispensation we are running. They have been so shortchanged that if he does not even win a wholesome Igbo vote for the presidential candidate, some southeastern votes that may not go in the direction of the APC might just, because you know what, any of the two topmost APC candidates are above 65. Anything can happen to a 65-year-old man and above. And the vice president is just a heartbeat away from. And the contemporary history of Nigeria has proven that if your vice president is available and your president is a bit
I understand where you're going to. But then beyond all of this now, do you think, given as president, someone who wanted to be the national chairman of the PDP, who even before becoming a governor wanted to become president, has a chance to return as a second term in office, but wants to become president? Do you think he has that character to settle down for vice presidency?
You cannot blame a man, and I'm one who believes that we've seen enough of accidental presidents in Nigeria, people who probably were running for something else and were just laden with the opportunity to become who they never wanted to be. So now at least look at those who aspire to want to be president. I don't see any offense in Obama. Was just a one-term senator, one-term senator before he contested for the office of the president, and everybody threw the books at him. They felt his aspiration was untoward, was vaultingly ambitious, was not based on reality, and he ended up being the president of America. So, my brother, what is what is the sin for a man to know that his ultimate destination is Ikoyi? He's still in Baga. He's telling you, you know, don't waste my time in Baga. I don't want to be the Lord of Baga. Let me be moving in the direction of Ikoyi. So, indeed, his unusual predisposition to do what is not peculiar in this polity. Most Nigerian governors would think, you know what, I'm the incumbent, the power of incumbency and all the resources at my disposal, I could easily articulate. You know, I can easily use this thing to articulate my re-election than aspiring for the presidency. This makes me to want to say, you know what, as a vice presidential candidate, I will prefer him than most in the fray.
But do you see him springing any surprise whatsoever today, or probably tomorrow?
I said earlier on that I don't quite hold on to him as a hopeful for the bona fide ticket. And I say, when I say a hopeful for the bona fide ticket, I don't quite see him as the person that will only emerge as the presidential candidate of the APC.
All right. But let's move on quickly away from there to Kano. Of course, you must have heard about the governor of Kano, Rabiu Kwankwaso, who also is showing intent and intention to run as presidential aspirant candidate rather of the All Progressives Congress. He was he came into office on 29th of May 1999, and then it was preceded rather by Colonel Aminu Isa Kutangura and succeeded by Malam Ibrahim Shekirau. Was also governor in office 29 May 2011 to 29 May 2015, incumbent governor, I believe. And then his personal details: was born in the year 1956. Okay, it looks quite older than the two aspirants we discussed earlier, in the village of Kwankwaso village, Madobi. Of course, married with 8 children, and then it goes on like that. The governor of Kano State from 1999 to 2003, re-elected for a second term as governor in 2011, and this time around he says he's tired of being governor, that he would love to preside and become the #1 person in Nigeria. Beyond all of that, his later career also shows some amazing fact. Kwankwaso, who was re-elected, won with a difference of 63,000 plus votes. His party won 3/4 of the House of Assembly seats by winning 30 out of the total 40 seats in the state. Kwankwaso is now the party leader in Kano and is also nominated into the party's most powerful political circle prior to this time when he was in the PDP. I believe that when he found out that he could not see his vision and his desires of presidency come true, he obviously decamped from there to the All Progressives Congress. What do you make of this man?
He is an incumbent governor as we speak. His record is said to be somewhat respectable. It's been a while I've been in Kano. I must be very honest with you.
Well, you could easily pass for the Kwankwaso red cap movement right now.
Oh, this is quite different because his cap is...
but the color is the same.
I guess the color of your tie is nearer to...
No, this is pink, yours is red.
But right. You see, jokes apart, for me, he is also an enricher of the process, but he's not a hopeful for me. I don't see him emerging as the candidate of the APC.
He just raised 2 billion naira yesterday in a fundraising.
He's an incumbent governor. He's an incumbent governor. The people who have benefited from his largesse as a sitting governor may chip in something back. Unlike Barack Obama, who raised his phenomenal funding the first time around from an average Joe public of the American electorate is the 2 billion he raised supposedly raised yesterday. Did he raise it from the Talakawas of Kano or the Talakawas of Lagos? Some people, some of his friends, who think he has, who has gotten some beneficence of his gubernatorial this thing, we are giving back. That is one. And I've always told you, you have to be very circumspect when the other twice before on this platform I've told you about all these opinion polls and something like that. Have you?
The NOI polls.
Have you seen? Have you gotten to know now that the NOI, this thing is actually owned by Okonjo-Iweala? You see, in Nigeria, we have perfected the art of bastardizing things that are genuine in some other jurisdictions, just to use them as a facade to cover up something they articulate. So for me, whatever amount he has raised, look, even in the PDP, the most powerful grouping in the PDP today is the group of the governors. In this political dispensation, as it comes to the management of resources, apart from the president, the 36 governors of the federating units of the Federal Republic of Nigeria are the most fortunate largessocrats in this polity. So we have to be very. But today may not be a day that will be decided solely by money, because even the 2 billion he has raised is not up to what we know to be the war chest of one of the principal players.
It's all right.
Because those ones have been...
We'll get there. Let's move ahead a little. Of course, quite older than the other two candidates we discussed earlier, under Isaiah as well as Rochas Okorocha, who were born in 1962, unlike those aspirants who was born in 1956. We'll open the phone lines for you to contribute now. We'd love to hear from you. The PDP and APC National Convention is kickstarting today as we wait to see officially who emerges as presidential candidate of these two parties. Of course, the PDP, one can easily guess, but not quite easy for the APC. Of course, we're moving on now. The fourth name I have here is the 11th Vice President of Nigeria, and I believe you've been seeing a couple of his jingles on this particular channel.
11th, how did you count it?
11, that's the way Wikipedia puts it on this particular
You have to be very circumspect about Wikipedia. Wikipedia is an encyclopedia written by just about everybody.
I understand.
So you have to be very circumspect. How did you come to 11?
It's all right.
You must have counted the Ikomus of this world, the Igbes of this world, and you must have counted them as vice president.
Obviously, because even here it's written as
even
being
the
preceded by Mike Ahigbe. But let's just move away from there, because that's not our focus this hour. But he was in office between 29 May 1999 to 29 May 2007. I believe 8 years in power as Vice President of Nigeria, succeeded by Goodluck Jonathan. Born on 25th November 1946, I'm talking about the Vice President, former Vice President Atiku Abubakar. Thank you for showing his face. 25th November 1946, that makes him 68 years old right now, I believe, and he is from Adamawa State. With the People's Democratic Party in 1998 to 2006, 2009 to 2013. He was with the Action Congress between 2006 to 2009, and as we speak right now, you know where he pitches his tent. He's with the All Progressives Congress. Well, I understand that I have a call. I'm just going to pick this call and continue afterwards with these names. Good morning, Tochukwu. How is Anambra today?
Okay, hello, good morning, Mr.
Good morning, my brother.
Please, I should verify my brother. I want to say a very big happy birthday to the All Progressive Congress, because today they will be giving birth to their presidential hopeful. My appeal is that they should make it as democratic as possible. They should always strive to prove the PDP wrong. We are all watching. Everybody's at alert. I want to appreciate my brother Bolova that is there with you. I want to congratulate them in advance and please beg them to make it democratic. They owe us a lot of responsibility as an opposition party and looking up to. So that is my contribution for today. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Tochuku. Good to hear from you. An amazing thing that many people might not quite understand about the former vice president was that he worked in the Nigerian Customs Service for 20 years, rising to become the deputy director as the second highest position in that service as of then. And then he retired in April
Deputy
89.
Controller General.
Deputy Controller, exactly, yeah, and took up full-time business and politics thereafter. He ran for the office of governor in Gongola State, now Adama and Taraba State in 1991, for presidency in 1993, and placing third in 1993 after MK Abiola and Babagana Kingigbe in the Social Democratic Party primaries. This guy has been there long time. And in 1998, he was elected governor of Adamawa. While still governor-elect, he was selected by the PDP as presidential candidate. Olusegun Obasanjo as his running mate. The duo went on to win elections in February 1999, and Abubakar was sworn in as Nigeria's second democratically elected vice president on May 29, 1999. Okay, it goes on and on and on and on like that. The bottom line is that he is contesting, and I read somewhere recently where he said he has stopped womanizing. That I can't really get details of that story, but then
I didn't read that too.
there are much more. He has 6 children according to Wikipedia. Bola Oba has said that I should stop trusting Wikipedia for
No,
certain
I'm not
information.
saying it's not, but one has to be very.
I understand.
You know, when
I
you are
understand.
you are getting your materials from a source that does not have a central editor that you can hold responsible for the content. Wikipedia is a phenomenal, unusual development in the world where we live, where open source distance. So one
I
has to
understand. But this morning, the PDP has named Atiku Abubakar and General Muhammadu Buhari as the biggest candidates for the APC, and they didn't stop there. A special advisor to Mr. President, actually, Doyo Kunkwe, went ahead to say that even if APC merges these two candidates together in one as presidential,
don't confuse your topic. You are still treating APC aspirants one by one.
I'm going there.
A candidate has not emerged.
I am going there. But they are saying that even if both of them merge together to become presidential candidate for APC, that they are not big enough for the incumbent. What do you say about this man as being the major contender in the presidential primary elections for the APC?
Has been one of the major contenders.
Exactly.
One of the 2 likely hopefuls. Yeah, he's a character that cannot be discountenanced. He's a character that cannot be rubbished as a major contender.
Okay.
You know, but having said that, it carries a perception baggage, a major perception baggage. And like I tell people, sometimes in politics, perception may be as punitive as reality, especially when the perception is negative.
I see.
So he's the major candidate. A very in all material particular, a bona fide hopeful. If he emerges as the candidate of the APC, I'm not going to be shocked. He has the wherewithal. He has the pecuniary or the financial wherewithal to run the gauntlet and, you know, ruffle the water, and indeed, quite against the expectation of many pundits, emerge as a candidate. And if he emerges as the candidate, I'll say congratulations to him. Good luck to him. But the baggage is where I'm seated now. The perception baggage is his barrier.
I didn't get that.
The perception baggage, the negative perception baggage is seen, you know, unfortunately, and I don't have any credible evidence out there, but it's seen to be a bona fide instrument of the legisocracy, the corrupt system that we have. And you don't get to be honored with the candidature of a party that has a point to prove.
We'll get there. We'll get there. Let us quickly take this one and then start comparing their chances together. Of course, Muhammadu Buhari, 7th head of state of Nigeria, between December 31, 1983 to August 27, 1985, preceded by Shehu Shagari and succeeded by Ibrahim Babangida. He was also chairman Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, in office between June 1978 to July 1978, preceded, of course, by Shehu Shagari and IBB. Federal Commissioner for Petroleum and Natural Resources, in office between March 1976 and June 1978. Governor of Northeastern State of Nigeria, in office between August 1975 and March 1976. Of course, he has other very interesting badges. Served in the Nigerian Army, years of service between 1962 and 1985, and he was also ranked Major General around that time. Now, this is about his 4th time attempting to contest for presidency in Nigeria. He tried it out with the ANPP, with the CPC, I believe, and obviously tried it twice, I believe, with the ANPP, and now he's also trying it again with the coalition called the APC. Now, Major General Buhari was selected to lead the country by middle and high-ranking military officers after a successful military coup d'etat that overthrew civilian President Shehu Shagari on December 31, 1983. At the time, Buhari was head of the 3rd Armored Division of Jos and was appointed head of state and commander-in-chief of the armed forces, with Tunde Idiagbon appointed Chief of General Staff. This particular dispensation of his leadership seems to be one of the high points that he is campaigning with. Where do you place this man at this time?
He is one of the two most serious most serious aspirants in the electoral fest today. One of the two most serious. His greatest advantage is positive perception mileage. Okay. The impression that Nigerians tend to have, even those who are on the other side of the divide from him politically, the impression that they have that he is, Mr. Integrity, that he is relatively incorruptible relative to the average player out there. But people like me, who looks beyond just being nice,
okay,
where I'm seated now, I see an intellectually midgety, intellectually dwarfy human being who probably lacks vision, who, if you say corruption is our greatest problem, okay, maybe, just maybe, to use him as a temporary firewall against corruption. But if we are taking this society in any direction that is going to be developmental, I don't see him as the intellectual firepower that can. This is Bola Oba, and I'm not, my opinion may not be popular out there, but Bola Oba sees Buhari, okay, if integrity is the only plus he carries, and we know we are in the morass of corruption, okay, maybe as a kind of firewall so that we can limit the invasion of the viruses. But if we really want an operating system that will defy the bugs and give us the kind of development we think we need, for me, intellectually is anemic, and vision-wise is a very myopic person.
Obviously, you don't seem to see any solid candidate in all this fight.
We have to be very careful, because when you take the ball game, that was why I was saying, that was why I was imploring you not to jump the gun by going to Kupe's comment earlier on. You see, I have been out. I have lived in 3 countries in my young life. And in those countries, I have gotten familiar to the parameters with which they are judged the characters that will rule them. Okay. I am, as I'm seated here now as a Nigerian, I am one who believes that it is unfortunate that in this age and time, Nigeria may be reduced to having two blind mice. Ultimately, as the candidates they have to choose from. Because come to think of it, the other side is even worse.
It's all right.
You know, at least Buhari has the plus of integrity. The other side, you know, both intellectually, vision-wise, direction-wise, and the fortitude of character to make something good out of nothing. I don't see from the other side too. So, you see, we are now, Bola about talking. We are now at a juncture of our political history where we practically have two blind.
We're going to get there. Although Buhari's admirers are of the opinion that he was overthrown by corrupt elements in the government who were afraid of being brought to justice as his policies were beginning to yield tangible dividends and
hindsight is 2020. Yes, we know at this juncture. And what other facts do we need to see the degeneracy that took place post Buhari Diagbon to where we are now?
We're going to get there, but let's take a short break now, a commercial break, and when we come back, we'll take your calls, and Boloba will still be here to talk more. Stick around, don't go away.
My people, shey una remember say 15 years ago, na Atiku be vice president of we country and chairman of the economic team. Na there him use the better sense wey God give am take restructure we economy. Our bank dem begin work proper, plus better pension reform. Even our telecom wey don kpai before come wake up, and all the gbese wey we owe Igbo people, na so we pay all patapata. All these better things happen because of leadership.
But today, na so all the company and industry there for we country, they run go another country. Naija just dey borrow Igbo money anyhow. Our people dey suffer. Nobody dey happy at all. And the people for government, dem be oga for impunity.
Atiku believe say this time change go happen because Nigeria badly need leader wey dey strong, wey dey competent, plus wey get vision. Leader wey go create job, tackle insecurity, fight corruption, and rebuild infrastructure.
Atiku dey try to win APC ticket to contest president for 2015 because he get experience well and he sabi how to bring Naija people together to build a strong and stable country where everybody go benefit inside.
Atiku 2015, a Nigeria for all, because now all of us waka come.
Has it been a difficult task for you to purchase exquisite, classic, durable and sturdy furniture that will last the test of time? Here is good news for you. Purchase high-quality furniture for your household, offices, hotels and schools at Prince Interior Furnishing and Furniture Company Limited. Office address, Goshen Plaza, Showroom 28, Kubo Furniture Market, AYA, Nyanya Road, Abuja. Telephone 0803 119 1444 or 09291 7482. Email princeemeka240@yahoo.com. info@princeinterior.com. Website www.princeinterior.com. Purchase your furniture at Prince Interior Furnishing and Furniture Company Limited. Classic, strong, exquisite.